If I gave you £1,000 today, would you know what to do with it? Would you be building a safety net or just a bigger tax bill? Hello everyone and welcome back to Am I Too Late? The podcast for late starters who want to build financial confidence in the digital world. In the last few episodes, we've talked about pensions, how they work, why employer contributions matter, and how tax relief can make a real difference. And in the previous episode, we looked at ISAs, what they are, and why flexibility matters. So that naturally leads to a practical question. If you have a bit of money available, where should it go first? Now, if that £1,000 is already earmarked for a much needed holiday, that's fine. But go back and listen to episode 3 on lifestyle creep to make sure it's a conscious choice. But today, we're talking about the money you've decided to keep. This is where we separate the savers from the investors. We are solving the ultimate where first dilemma. Cash savings, pensions, or stocks and shares ISAs. For a while, I was mainly building my stocks and shares ISA. It felt like the obvious place to start investing, and I hadn't really looked properly at pensions yet. And it was only later that I realized something important. Pensions and ISAs can hold very similar investments, but the role they play in your financial life is different. Before you choose an investment, decide what job that money is doing. And just to say, if you're dealing with high interest debt like credit cards, that usually needs attention before investing. This episode is really about what to do with money once you are past that stage, because different places for your money solve different problems. A simple way to think about it is in 3 layers: cash safety, pension advantages, and ISA flexibility. Each layer solves a different problem. So let's walk through them together. The first layer is safety. If you don't have a basic emergency buffer yet, that's usually the first thing to build before putting money into investments. Because investing without safety creates stress, and stress changes behavior. If something unexpected happens, like a gap in income, a sudden expense, or a change in your life or circumstances, and all your money is invested and temporarily down, you're forced into decisions you wouldn't otherwise make. You might panic. You might sell at the wrong time. That's not a market problem. It's a structure problem. Cash has a job. Its job is stability. For most people, that means roughly 3 to 6 months of essential expenses, not lifestyle spending, not holidays, essentials. And if you feel like you're starting later, it can be tempting to skip this step and invest everything as quickly as possible. But safety isn't a delay, it's what allows you to invest calmly and stay invested. Stability first. Because once safety is in place, everything else becomes calmer. Once safety is covered, the focus shifts to the advantages pensions offer. If you have a workplace pension, your employer pays into it as well. You can think of that as additional pay going into your pension. Some employers will also increase their contribution if you increase yours, usually up to a certain percentage. So if you're not contributing enough to receive the full employer contribution, that's often the first place to look. On top of that, pensions receive tax relief when the money goes in, which means part of the tax you would normally pay is redirected into your pension instead. You can think of both of these as free extra top-ups in your pension. That's why pensions are often the next place to look once your safety buffer is in place. Accessibility does matter though. Pension money is usually locked away until later in life. So if you know you may need access to that money sooner, that changes the decision. Ideally, that choice is intentional, not accidental. And now we get to flexibility. Money in an ISA is accessible. Whether it's held as cash or invested, you can usually access it whenever you choose. There's no retirement age attached to it. That changes the role it plays. If pensions are designed for later life income, ISAs sit in a space before that. They give you options to slow down, options to change direction, and options to bridge gaps. And that flexibility has value, even if it doesn't come with the same tax advantages on the way in as pensions. Both pensions and ISAs can hold similar investments. The difference isn't what they invest in, it's when you can use the money. So the question becomes, do I want this money locked away for long-term advantages? Or do I want it accessible for flexibility? For many people, the answer isn't either or. It's layered. Cash safety, pension advantages, ISA flexibility. You don't have to put all your money in one place. You might split it across different layers depending on what that money is for. Only after you decide where the money should go do we talk about implementation. That might be an app, it might be a platform like Trading212, Invest Engine, or Vanguard, or it might involve working with a financial advisor. Some people prefer to manage things themselves, others prefer guidance. Both approaches are valid, but the platform is just a vehicle. The structure comes first, because whether you use an app or an advisor, the questions are the same. What job is this money doing? Okay, let's wrap up. So if you're wondering where your next pound should go, think about the layers: cash safety, pension advantages, and ISA flexibility. Each one solves a different problem, and only after that comes the implementation. The app, the platform, the investments themselves. Decide what job the money is doing first, then decide where it goes. If this episode or the podcast is helping you in any way, please do come and tell me on Instagram at Am I Too Late Podcast. It genuinely makes me so happy to hear that you're listening and you find the podcast useful, because that's the reason why I'm doing this, to help you better equipped for your future. And if you know someone who might benefit from the show, do feel free to share this episode with them. Okay, now here's your homework. Next time you want to move any money into savings or investments, pause and ask yourself 3 questions. Do I have my cash safety in place? Am I using the pension advantages available to me, like employer contributions and tax relief? And if this money needs to stay accessible, would an ISA make more sense? Don't open the app yet. Decide what job the money is doing first. Then decide where it goes. Next time, we'll start looking at the numbers around ISAs. Things like allowances, deadlines, and what to think about before tax year ends. So hit the follow or subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming. Thanks for listening, and remember, you are not too late. You're here now, and that's what matters. I'll see you in the next episode. Here's the disclaimer. Everything I share here comes from personal experience and learning. This podcast is for information only and isn't financial advice. Please do your own research and talk to a professional financial advisor to find what's right for you.